It was the summer of 2019. I was 15 years old, and for the first time, my parents were leaving me home alone for the weekend. They were going out of town for some work thing, and I was more than excited to have the house to myself. I mean, what teenager doesn't want that kind of freedom, right? But looking back now, I'd do anything to change what happened that weekend. The house was quiet after my parents left, which was fine at first. I didn't mind the silence. It was a Friday night, and it had been raining all day. Around 8 p.m., the rain started turning into a full-blown thunderstorm. I didn't think much of it. We get storms all the time where I live. By 10 p.m., the rain was pounding so hard against the windows, it was almost deafening. I was sitting on the couch watching TV when I heard the first sound that made my skin crawl. A distinct thud, like something heavy hitting the floor, came from upstairs. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe something had fallen over in my room, or one of the windows got knocked by the wind. But then it happened again, louder this time, like someone had dropped something heavy right above me. I muted the TV, my heart starting to race. The house creaked every now and then, sure, but this wasn't just a random noise. It was deliberate, like footsteps moving across the second floor. I got up, my eyes fixed on the staircase. The house was dim, lit only by the faint glow of the TV and the flashes of lightning outside. I stood there for a moment, listening. The rain continued its relentless assault on the roof, but beneath it, I could hear something else, a slow, creaking sound. It was faint but unmistakable. It was coming from my bedroom. I grabbed the baseball bat from the closet and started walking toward the stairs, my heart pounding so loud I could barely hear the storm outside. As I reached the top step, I froze. The door to my bedroom was cracked open. I was positive I had closed it before coming downstairs. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, trying to convince myself to go in. Maybe it was just the wind, or my imagination playing tricks on me. But then I heard something else, a rustling sound, like someone was moving inside my room. I slowly pushed the door open, the bat clenched tightly in my hand. My room was dark, except for the occasional flash of lightning. The window was wide open, rain splashing onto the carpet. But that wasn't the worst part. In the corner, right next to my desk, was a set of muddy footprints. They weren't mine. The hair on the back of my neck stood up. Someone had been in my room. Or worse, someone still was. I backed out slowly, my eyes darting around the room, looking for any sign of movement. But there was nothing, just those wet footprints leading to the window. I slammed the door shut and bolted downstairs, locking myself in the living room. I called my parents, but they didn't pick up. I didn't want to call the cops and freak everyone out if this was just some kind of misunderstanding, but deep down, I knew something was wrong. Really wrong. It was around midnight when things took a turn for the worse. I had calmed down a bit, telling myself it was probably just my imagination. Maybe I had left the window open earlier and forgot. I didn't even want to think about the footprints. But then I heard it. Another sound, only this time, it came from the kitchen. A single, loud bang echoed through the house, followed by what sounded like something scraping across the floor. I froze, my eyes locked on the dark hallway leading to the kitchen. I didn't want to go check. I didn't even want to move. But the noise kept coming. This time, it was unmistakable. Someone, or something, was in the house with me. I mustered up whatever courage I had left and moved toward the kitchen, my heart racing faster with every step. As I turned the corner, I saw it. The back door was wide open, the rain pouring in. The wind howled through the gap, making the door swing back and forth on its hinges. But that wasn't all. Right in the middle of the kitchen floor was a chair. And sitting on that chair was my house key. The same house key I had left on the dining table earlier. Someone had been in the house. and they had taken my key. I slammed the door shut and locked it, frantically checking all the other doors and windows in the house. My mind was racing, trying to figure out how this could have happened. I hadn't heard anyone come in. How long had they been here? And why were they messing with me? By 2 a.m., I was completely paranoid. Every little noise made me jump. I barricaded myself in the living room, watching the front door like a hawk. I tried calling my parents again, nothing. I even tried texting some friends, but nobody was awake. Then, the power went out. Everything went pitch black, and I was left alone in the dark with nothing but the sound of the storm and my own breathing. I grabbed my phone, using the flashlight to light my way. I was about to head for the front door, thinking maybe I could just get out of the house and go to a neighbor's, when I heard a soft tapping sound. It was coming from the window. I turned the light toward it, and my heart stopped. Pressed against the glass was a handprint. A wet, muddy handprint that hadn't been there before. I backed away, my hand shaking so badly I nearly dropped my phone. The tapping continued, slow and deliberate, like whoever was outside wanted me to know they were there. I didn't dare move. I didn't dare breathe. And then the tapping stopped. Just like that. Silence, except for the rain and the occasional rumble of thunder. I stood frozen for what felt like hours, waiting for something, anything, to happen. But it didn't. Eventually, the power came back on, and I spent the rest of the night sitting in the corner of the living room, too scared to even blink. When my parents came home the next day, I didn't say anything. I didn't want them to think I was crazy or that I couldn't handle being home alone. But the next time I went upstairs, I found something that made my blood run cold. On the floor of my bedroom, right next to the muddy footprints, was my house key. The same key I had locked in the kitchen drawer the night before.